Oh, I'll be waiting all week for Sunday night. Grossi Posse Packer Nation. Welcome to an episode of Packcast, the podcast where you don't have to be Packers fan, but it sure does help. I'm your host, Tom. I'm actually doing pretty damn well in predictions this year, Grossi, and today we are going to be breaking down and predicting each game in the Week 8 slate. It's crazy to think about that we are nearly halfway through the NFL season. As October is about to be in the rearview mirror, November football is about to take shape. And listen, as of years ago, I thought November football was one of the most important months, but then the Rams didn't win a single game in November, and then they won the Super Bowl, so who the hell knows? And especially with the season's chaos, yeah, I have no idea what's going to happen, but maybe we'll actually find out which teams are good. Last week, I went a very respectable 12-3 in pick'ems, which means I have a 76-31 record on the season. Currently, I am 112th out of the 27,000 people that are in our pick'em league, which I gotta be honest, out of all my years of doing this, this is probably the best record I have ever had. So now I'm getting a little protective of it. However, there are some folks who have a better record than me, and finally, for the first time this season, we have one person who is solely in first place, and that is Who Dat Nation with an 81-26 record. So a big shout out to you. Will they be able to hold on to first place? We'll see, because I'm coming for you. Starting off with our Thursday night football game, you got the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. Both these teams suffering some losses last week. The Vikings, that Carson Wentz revenge game, not a whole lot of revenge. And while they did make that game more respectable as the game went along, the Vikings were beat up. The Philadelphia Eagles just threw absolutely everything at them, and Jalen Hurts actually threw for 300 yards. Sure, Saquon Barkley can't get things going on the ground, and Brian Flores does run a good defense. However, if there's one part of that defense that's a little bit sus, it's gonna be that secondary, and Jalen Hurts was able to take advantage of that as A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith had a really good game. Now, of course, the story for the Vikings right now is when is J.J. McCarthy going to be coming back? He's been out for the past few weeks. Carson Wentz is looking to start again this Thursday. And the real question is, why won't Kevin O'Connell let JJ play against his old coach?
How come he don't want me, man?
Conspiracy time. Well, they're going to be taking on Harbaugh and the LA Chargers, who also were defeated last week. And listen, while Justin Herbert threw for over 400 yards, that secondary, oof, that defense could not stop a cold Jonathan Taylor getting 3 touchdowns on them. And they were another team that made that game a little bit more respectable as it went along, but they were just unable to contain the might that is Indiana Jones and the Indianapolis Colts. The good news for the LA Chargers is that Joe Alt was limited at practice on Monday and said that he is likely to play this upcoming Thursday, which will be a big boost to that offensive line. Of course, the Chargers are still going to be without Omari and Hampton, and so we'll see what Vidal can do. He was ineffective this past Sunday after having a big game the previous week, and so we'll see if they're going to be able to have a balanced attack against this pretty solid Vikings defense. And taking a look at this game, it's just going to be a matter of which defense is going to show up this week. The Vikings, of course, letting Jalen Hurts throw all over them. You have the Chargers defense who allowed Jonathan Taylor to run all over them, and so this actually might wind up being a pretty close game. I think it's going to depend on who can establish the run. Aaron Jones is coming off IR, and so he could potentially play this Thursday against the Chargers, which would be a big boost for the Vikings. But taking a look at this game, I'm going to go with the LA Chargers to get a win at home. I think Justin Herbert can air this ball out enough and take advantage of that Vikings secondary. And with Carson Wentz, I just don't know how he's going to play. With Khalil Mack back in the lineup for the Chargers, they should be able to get after Carson Wentz, and if so, that could cause some turnovers. So because of that, I'm going with the Chargers to get the W, defeat Satan, and the Vikings can remain in last place. Following that, you got the Miami Dolphins taking on the Atlanta Falcons. The Dolphins, yeah, things are not good. Devin Achane, he's pretty darn good. Their defense, non-existent. Tua, not having a great season. And at this point, Dolphins fans are just ready for somebody to get fired.
Are we there yet?
No.
Are we there yet?
No!
Are we there yet?
Yes.
Really? No!
But the Dolphins just could not move the ball effectively against the Cleveland Browns. Their defense was able to stop whatever the hell the Dolphins were attempting to do on Sunday. On top of that, we've talked about it all year now. The Dolphins have one of, if not the worst defense in the entire league. And the Browns, they put belt to ass. And taking a look at the short-term future of the Dolphins, there are going to be a lot of things that they're going to have to figure out. Are they going to trade some pieces? When are they going to make these firings? Because you know that somebody's going to be losing their job by the end of the season. Heading into this week, ownership said that there was nothing that was going to change this week. That might change after this Falcons game, because I imagine it's going to go a certain way.
Are we there yet?
Hey, that's not funny.
As the Atlanta Falcons, also coming off a disappointing loss, we were hyping up the Falcons after they beat the Buffalo Bills. Robinson and Algier were running well, Michael Penix was playing well, and that defense, more importantly, was playing incredibly well. And this past Sunday, they just could not stop Christian McCaffrey and the San Francisco 49ers. Their defense had no answer for CMC, who was their leading rusher and also their leading receiver. And unfortunately for their offense, they could just not get their run game going. Michael Penix looked pedestrian. There's definitely some blame that can go to coaching, but heading into week 8, I still think we're trying to figure out who the Atlanta Falcons are. If they can't establish their run game, they are in trouble. The good news is anybody could establish this run game against the Miami Dolphins. And taking a look at this game being played at home, I got the Falcons winning here. I just can't pick the Dolphins in good conscience at this point. I just think they're one of the worst teams in the league. Their offense can be effective. Like I said, I really like Devin Achane, and it can be explosive. But with that really bad defense and their offense having some woes, yeah, I got to go with the Falcons to rebound here, getting themselves a win. And Dolphins fans, you're just one step closer to the end.
Are we there yet?
Then you got the New Jersey Jets taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. The Jets. Oh, the Jets. The only winless team remaining in the NFL. And I gotta be honest with you, I don't know when that is going to change. Everything, and I mean everything, is not looking good. Breece Hall is just one of the most tragic stories in the past few years because he was a sensational running back and he has not gotten things going. The defense is okay, but it's nothing like it was. And the offense, it is woof. Tyrod Taylor is going to be starting this week because 7 games into the season, the Jets owner has already completely lost faith in Justin Fields.
I hate it here. I want to go home.
But it came out today that Tyrod Taylor's actually dealing with a knee injury, and so he is day-to-day, so we'll see if he even starts against the Bengals or they'll return to Justin Fields. They're going to be taking on the Cincinnati Bengals, who are coming off a big-time win against Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers from Thursday night. Even without Trey Hendrickson and without a pass rush, they were able to force 2 turnovers. Turner is playing phenomenally well in that secondary, and of course, let's talk about that offense. Not only was it their best running performance of the season, in which you finally had Chase Brown have his breakout game, but Joe Flacco absolutely tearing it up and really slicing and dicing that Steelers secondary. He was able to get the ball out quickly, and the Bengals look to have some new life in them. Now, of course, they're just biding time until Joe Burrow can return in December, if he can return at all this season. And honestly, I'm not too sure what Joe Burrow is going to be walking back into. Their offensive line did a really nice job actually protecting Joe Flacco last week, and so who knows? Maybe the Bengals can go on a little bit of a streak here. Here, I think they're going to get their second win in a row without a problem. Going up against this Jets team, they are one of, if not the worst team in football. So I got Cincinnati getting another big-time win here, giving them a 2-win streak. And watch out. Are the Bengals back? Maybe not, but they're better. Following that, you got the Cleveland Browns taking on the New England Patriots. The Browns, they got a win! They have doubled their win total, because we're not going to talk about who they beat earlier in week 3, but they doubled their win total this season after knocking off the Miami Dolphins. Dylan Gabriel looking solid, and Judkins, besides not doing a whole lot the week prior, Judkins has been really nice this season, as it has been a nice boost to this offense. They have needed a solid and consistent running game ever since Nick Chubb left, and it looks like they found their guy in Judkins. But Cleveland's going to be taking on the New England Patriots, and Mike Vrabel, who was actually on their staff last year, and I'm sure that they're a little bit jealous of the Patriots' newfound success.
I had Stearns right in my hands, and he got away.
Because the New England Patriots empire, it might just be back. Drake frackin' May, man. He is having a sensational season. You want to talk about young QBs who are struggling all around the league? Not Drake May. He is dropping dimes. The defense is playing well. And while it was close for that first half against the Tennessee Titans, they were able to pull away. They were able to shut down whatever the heck the Titans were doing on offense. And Cam Ward just continuously getting sacked. And like I said, Drake May is just playing sensational football right now. And heading into this game, I think this is actually going to be a really good test for this Patriots O-line and Drake May. They're going up against a good Cleveland defense, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is a very low-scoring game. And I actually wouldn't be shocked if the Cleveland Browns were able to pull away with an upset victory. However, the way the Patriots are playing, it's going to come down to that offensive line and if they're going to be able to keep Drake May upright. They may have a problem running the ball, so Drake May is going to have to be at his best, and they're already going up against a good secondary. So I am going to go with the Patriots to get a win here. I'm not super duper confident as, again, this is a very tough test for that offense going up against Cleveland's D. But yeah, New England gets the win. The legend of Drake May grows, and the Empire strikes back. Then you got the New York Giants taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Wait a minute, didn't these two teams just play each other?
Go back to then.
When?
Now.
Now?
Now.
I can't.
Why?
We missed it.
When? Just now. When will then be now? Soon.
The Giants. I thought about bringing the New Jersey moniker back because, good God, man, after shutting out the Denver Broncos for 3 straight quarters on Sunday, they allowed 33 points and ultimately lost that game. You could blame the lack of a kicker. You could blame Shane Bowen. You can blame Brian Dable and his play calling. But ultimately, an epic collapse for the New York Giants and one of the most heartbreaking games, if you are a Giants fan, that you have seen in quite some time. Because the Giants, they look to have rebounded this season. Jackson Dart is playing well, and besides that interception, he played well against a very good Denver defense. Cam Scatteraboo is having a nice season, and even without Malik Neighbors, no consistency on the offensive line, the Giants seem to have turned a corner before this past Sunday. And I will say, once they get their kicking woes in order, which doesn't look to be ending anytime soon, I think the Giants are still going to be just fine. I don't know if they're going to be a playoff team this year because, like I said, they're already missing a bunch of pieces, but there's some excitement to build upon. They'll be taking on the Philadelphia Eagles, who have a bunch of excitement of their own after Jalen Hurts, for the first time in 22 games, threw for over 300 yards, and it looked like for the first time this season, this Eagles offense was actually back. On top of that, with Jalen Carter back in the lineup this past weekend, that defense was looking much, much better than what we have seen from them in the past few weeks. And for the Eagles, this is a revenge game. After losing that Thursday night game, after Cam Scatteraboo getting 3 touchdowns on them, I imagine that this Eagles defense is going to want to get some revenge. And Jalen Carter, who was not playing the last time these two teams met up, I think that is going to be a difference maker here. I could still see this being a pretty close game, and Saquon Barkley may have another week where he's not going to be able to get things going on the ground. But I like the Eagles in Philadelphia here. I think, like I said, the biggest difference is going to be Jalen Carter, and if they're able to put pressure on Jackson Dart and stop Cam Scatteraboo, I think Philadelphia should be able to get the win here, making the series 1-1. Then you got the Buffalo Bills taking on the Carolina Panthers. The Bills, they were able to have themselves a nice bye week where their fans didn't have to be stressed out about that defense, and they definitely needed this bye week. The Buffalo Bills need to get healthier, especially on defense. And the good news for this Bills defense is that Hairston has entered his 21-day return window, and so hopefully we will see him in the secondary for the first time this season. They have been waiting for their first-round rookie CB to come and help and save their secondary, and we'll see if that's going to make a difference. And taking a look at the Bills this year, you look at their offense, and when James Cook is able to get things going, that offense is able to hum along. And ultimately, I think the Bills are going to be okay. They just need to get healthy, stay healthy, and while there are still some problematic areas, especially on defense, I still think they are going to be a good team. But they're going to be taking on the Carolina Panthers, who, speaking of good teams, look at them above 500 for the first time since 2021, which is sensational. And I gotta say, I bet Dottle and Hubbard are getting hyped looking at that Bills run defense.
Let's go on. Let's run like we're
Lions and Tigers and Bears! Let's go!
Well, they're back to splitting carries, and they had an ugly win over the New Jersey Jets last week. The Panthers, they've had a pretty nice resurgence this season. Unfortunately for them, Bryce Young got injured this past Sunday, and so his status is very much in doubt this upcoming week, which means that Andy Dalton is likely to assume QB duties this upcoming Sunday against Buffalo. And honestly, if Bryce Young was playing, it's being played in Carolina, I might be tempted to pick the Carolina Panthers here. I think if they're able to run all over this Bills defense, which has proven very easy by just about every single team in the league, I think that the Panthers have a pretty significant advantage here. I think the difference is going to be, is Andy Dalton going to be at least an efficient quarterback? Is he going to be able to move the ball without turning it over? And that could be the difference maker here, because the Panthers, they have a pretty solid defense. But overall, I gotta go with the Buffalo Bills to get the win here. I think their offense is just gonna be a little bit too much for that Panthers defense to contain. And like I said, with Bryce Young likely being out, I like the Bills' chances here to get a win. And because of that, I'm going with Buffalo, because if they lose, uh-oh. Then you got the Chicago Bears taking on the Baltimore Ravens. The Bears, don't look now, have won 4 straight games in a row. And though Caleb Williams did not have his best game last week, DeAndre Swift has been having himself a really nice season. Their defense is playing well. They're causing turnovers. And after taking down the Saints, the Pope-led Bears are looking for their 5th straight win.
You see, we're on a mission from God. We're on a mission from God. We're on a mission from God.
They're going to be taking on the Baltimore Ravens, who are coming off of their bye week. And unfortunately for the Ravens, it is not good news, as Lamar Jackson missed practice this week, and it looks like his status is still very much in doubt for this upcoming Sunday against the Chicago Bears. And the last time that we saw the Ravens play, their defense actually put out their best performance of the season. They looked pretty darn solid. The problem is their offense did absolutely nothing. While Derrick Henry is still great on the ground, if they don't have a quarterback to move the football, it just feels like that offense can't function at all. And they need to start playing some complementary football to try and save their season. So taking a look at this game, if Lamar Jackson plays, I think the Ravens should be able to win. I just think the combination on offense with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson would be too much for the Chicago Bears defense. And if they're able to actually get after Caleb Williams, I think this defense could contain the Bears. Unfortunately, with Lamar Jackson's status in a whole lot of doubt, I think the Chicago Bears are facing the Ravens at the right time. And so because of that, oh, this is going to suck. I am picking the Chicago Bears to beat the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday. A statement I never thought that I would say, but just taking a look at this Bears defense, they have been really damn good this year. And on top of that, if the Bears are able to establish the run, protect Caleb Williams, and he doesn't turn the ball over, I think Chicago can come out of Baltimore with an upset win. So because of that, I'm going with Chicago to get the win. And at some point, the Pope and I are going to have a conversation.
We're on a mission from God.
Then you got the San Francisco 49ers taking on the Houston Texans. The 49ers surprising just about everybody. No Fred Warner, no Nick Bosa, no problem. That defense was able to stop the run of the Falcons. Their secondary was playing really well, and Robert Saleh deserves a ton of praise of what he's been able to do, not only when that defense is healthy, but even more impressively when that defense is not healthy and is missing their 2 biggest stars. And we already talked about CMC running all over the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday night, and they are going to have a tougher time going up against the good defense of the Houston Texans, who are coming off a loss against the Seattle Seahawks from Monday night, even though it looked like both teams near the end of that game had no interest in winning that contest. And I gotta be honest with you, after 7 weeks, I can't tell if the Strouds are a really good bad team or a really bad good team.
Are you a big guy that gets all little, or a little guy that sometimes blows up large?
I'm not even sure.
Yeah, they really need to get angry. But taking a look at the Houston Texans, their defense continues to be really darn good. They were causing turnovers even late in that game against the Seahawks, who were still throwing the ball for whatever reason. But their offense is pitiful. And I mean, it is real bad. That offensive line, CJ Stroud was running for his life. They couldn't really establish their run game. And CJ Stroud, he was just missing throws all night. And yes, he was under a ton of pressure and duress, but that offense has not been good all season. And so taking a look at this game, this could be a really low scoring affair. The 49ers have a pretty solid defense. The Texans, they do have a really good defense. And both offenses, well, one runs through Christian McCaffrey and the other, it's not running it all. So this is really going to be a game. I have no idea who is going to win this football game because I think the Texans can stop Christian McCaffrey. And if that happens, I don't know if the 49ers are going to be able to score. On top of that, I don't know if the Strouds can score in general. So here, I'm going to have to go with the San Francisco 49ers here. I don't really believe too much in this pick, but hey, Robert Saleh was really impressive this past Sunday. They were able to stop that Falcons run game, and I think they can definitely get pressure on the Texans, though I wouldn't be surprised if that Texans defense causes a few turnovers and they're able to get a sneaky low-scoring win. But yeah, I'm going to go with the 49ers to get the W here. And for the Texans, yeah, they better figure it out quickly. Then you got an NFC South showdown between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New Orleans Saints. The Buccaneers lost to the Detroit Lions on Monday night, and more tragically, they also lost Mike Evans. But the Buccaneers put in their worst offensive performance of the season. Baker Mayfield struggled as he really had no receivers to throw to. Ibuka did wind up playing, but he was banged up. Mike Evans, of course, leaving that game with a broken collarbone and a concussion, and it just seems like too many injuries for the Buccaneers to overcome. Their defense did a nice job at times being able to get after Jared Goff, but Jahmyr Gibbs ran all over them, and it was a tough Monday night for the Buccaneers. They'll be taking on the New Orleans Saints this week, who they still have that one win, and Spencer Rattler, who we've been praising on this show week after week, turned in his worst performance this past Sunday as he was turning that ball over. They could not get anything going on the offensive side of things. Their defense didn't look good, and ultimately the Saints, they finally looked like their record this past Sunday. And taking a look at this game, even though the Buccaneers are beat to hell, I still like their chances knocking off the Saints. I think Spencer Rattler will have a better game this week because while Chris Olave was able to have a nice day against the Chicago Bears, yeah, the Saints really had no answers for that Bears defense. Now, the Buccaneers definitely need to get healthy, and unfortunately, that won't be happening with Mike Evans. Todd Bowles also came out and said that Bucky Irving and Chris Godwin will be out this Sunday against the Saints. However, I do believe in the Buccaneers to do enough to get the win here. They need to have a nice rebound victory after looking not so great against the Detroit Lions. And so here, I think the Buccaneers will do much better in the kitchen as Baker will serve up some better cookies this week against the Saints, getting themselves the win and hopefully being able to start the healing process for Mike Evans. Following that, you got the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Denver Broncos. The Cowboys having themselves a very nice victory over the Washington Commanders. Their defense was looking good. Dak Prescott continuing his low-key MVP season. CeeDee Lamb came back and had a big impact. George Pickens is playing well. And Javonte Williams was running the ball effectively. And it looked like the most balanced win of the Cowboys season thus far. Now, even more good news for the Cowboys is that Overshown is in his 21-day return window. So hopefully within the next 3 weeks, that defense will be getting a huge boost as Overshown is recovering from a major injury. But the last time that he played, he was really damn good as a pass rusher. So that would be a big boost to that Cowboys defense. They're going to be taking on the Denver Broncos, who last Sunday, the Giants thought that they had Denver dead and buried.
You were dead. That's how you died.
I was faking. I used ninja focus to slow my heart rate down.
What are you doing?
You're waking the neighbors! Shut up!
But then Bo Nix rose again as they scored 33 points in the fourth quarter and got the game-winning field goal against the Giants to win that game in one of the most crazy comebacks I have ever seen in football. And hey, listen, the Broncos, this is the second fourth quarter comeback against an NFC East team this season, which is a bit weird that it's happened twice. And heading into this game being played in Denver once again, the Broncos defense, I like their chances against this good Cowboys offense. The question is going to be, is that Dallas defense going to look good this week for a second week in a row? If they're able to get pressure on Bo Nix and stop the run, I actually like the Cowboys' chances of winning here. Yes, they're going up against a very good defense, but like you saw with the Giants, they were able to put up points against them. And if Javonte Williams is able to get some revenge against his old team, I'm going to pick the Cowboys to get the win here. Now, the things that could completely change this game, if they're able to get after Dak Prescott, who has been sensational this season, he's not turning the ball over, if they're able to force turnovers and they're able to limit Javonte Williams, I think the Broncos can definitely win. But here, I'm going to go with the upset victory and pick the Cowboys. I just think their offense has looked really good these past couple of weeks. And like I said, if the Cowboys defense is able to step up and look pretty good, the Broncos offense apparently can only play in the fourth quarter. And I just think that the Cowboys can put up enough points that they could avoid a fourth quarter comeback. So because of that, I'm going with the Cowboys to get the win, though I'm not very confident in them, like at all. Then you got the Tennessee Titans taking on the Indianapolis Colts. The Titans, hey, they put in a respectable first half against the New England Patriots, and then everything fell apart. And let's just be honest with the Titans here. Their offensive line is awful. I really like Cam Ward, but he is running for his life and constantly getting sacked. They're a rebuilding team. They recently fired their head coach, and I feel like Titans fans are just counting down the days until the draft at this point. And the problem, it's only week 8. They're going to be taking on the Indianapolis Colts, who, don't look now, they got the best record in frackin' football.
Hey, look, I'm king of the world! Woo!
The Colts able to take care of business against the LA Chargers. Jonathan Taylor with another 3-touchdown performance has been sensational this year. Their defense is playing so much better. And I mentioned this on Power Rankings, even though Justin Herbert threw for over 400 yards, the Colts were able to really take control of that football game, and it never really got too close for comfort. And taking a look at this divisional matchup, I just like the Colts way more than the Titans right now. The Titans just seem like a team that is stumbling around in the dark. And the Colts, they're playing efficient football. Their defense is playing well. Jonathan Taylor is playing for an MVP or at least Offensive Player of the Year. So here, I'm going to go with Daniel Jones to lead them to yet another victory, and their stranglehold upon the AFC will continue. Yeah, who the hell would have thought we'd be talking about the Colts like this after 8 weeks in this NFL season? Then, oh, I've been waiting for this. You got the Green Bay mother-loving Packers taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Packers able to get a comeback victory against the Arizona Cardinals because, God forbid, they make it easy. Their secondary did not look so good, especially Nate Hobbs, who has had a very rough year as Jacoby Brissett was able to tear apart that secondary. However, the pass rush led by Micah Parsons getting 3 sacks, 10 QB pressures, 5 QB hits was sensational. On top of that, this run defense, which is the best in the NFL, was able to contain the Cardinals' third-string running back in Bam Knight. And while the offense did play a bit conservative, they went forward on 4th down late in that game and were able to get a game-winning touchdown. Now, talking about the Packers this year, I still think there's a lot of question marks. You look at that secondary depth, you look at the offensive line and creating some running lanes as Josh Jacobs was able to get things going later in that game, but you just want more consistency from this squad. And after getting Micah Parsons, expectations are set at the Super Bowl for the Packers. So anytime that they wind up struggling with these teams, just like the Colts struggled with the Arizona Cardinals the week prior, there's going to be some criticism. However, that's in the past as the Packers get to meet up with an old friend on Sunday Night Football.
I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it.
They're going to be taking on Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers, who we talked about more recently losing to the Cincinnati Bengals on Thursday night. Aaron Rodgers, who can still freaking sling that ball with a Hail Mary attempt that went almost 70 yards, was unable to find success against the Bengals, whether it was the 2 interceptions on offense or the fact that their defense just did not show up. They could not contain Jamar Chase at all, as the Bengals were constantly looking to him, and he's freaking setting records. Joe Flacco looked like a stud. And unfortunately for the Steelers, this goes against how they've been playing the past few weeks. Their defense was looking really damn good, which is why it was surprising that the Bengals were able to find so much success. Now, the good news for the Steelers offense is that Jaylen Warren finally got things going, as Gainwell had been that guy who has really gotten that run game started. Jaylen Warren was finally utilized on Thursday night and was able to find some running room. And so if they're able to have a balanced attack, this Steelers offense is much, much better. Aaron Rodgers just has to watch out for his own O-lineman trying to take him down. And taking a look at this game, before the season, I predicted this would be a loss for the Packers, because if there is one game that Aaron Rodgers is going to show up in, it is going to be this one. Now, the thing that's making me feel a little bit better about this game is the Packers are hopefully getting healthier. We'll see if guys like Devontae Wyatt and Lucas Van Ness are going to be able to play, and on the offensive side of the ball, if Christian Watson's going to be making his season debut this Sunday. And I think any one of those guys returning is going to be a major boost for either the defense or the offense. The Packers have shown that they can stop the run, so I'm not really worried about Jaylen Warren in this game. I think it's just going to be about getting after Aaron Rodgers. And if Micah Parsons is able to have the game that he had this past Sunday, I think they should be able to win this football game. The question is going to be what Steelers defense is going to show up. I think if Jordan Love is able to stay upright and they're able to contain TJ Watt, the Packers should be able to move the ball pretty efficiently. If Josh Jacobs gets things going early on, I like the Packers to get the win here, though I would not be surprised if this turns into a shootout considering both of our secondaries right now. We'll see if Aaron Rodgers is going to be targeting Nate Hobbs all freaking night. But here, I'm going to go with the Packers to get their win on Sunday night. It should be a marquee matchup, what Sunday Night Football is all about. And if not, well, then Aaron Rodgers will have his revenge against Green Bay. Though I don't know what he's really trying to get his revenge for. And then finally on Monday Night Football, you got the Washington Commanders taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. The Commanders, oh boy, it was a rough Sunday going up against the Cowboys. They got beat up. Not only was their defense not looking good, Jaden Daniels was banged up. And unfortunately, it was announced today that Jaden Daniels will not be starting against the Chiefs on Monday night, and instead it will be Marcus Mariota. And while ESPN reported that the hamstring injury is not significant, this is obviously a problem as the Commanders are trying to get healthier, especially on offense. They're still waiting for Scary Terry to come back, and even when Jaden Daniels was in that game, it was a rough time against the Dallas Cowboys. And so the Commanders, heading into this year, obviously expectations are super duper high after making it to the NFC Championship game. They just need to get healthy, and we need to figure out if the Commanders are going to be a contender this season. They're going to be taking on the Kansas City Chiefs, who are able to shut out the Las Vegas Raiders. They had 30 first downs. The Raiders called 30 plays. They're doing fake sneaks where they're like, oh, we're not actually going to snap it. Just kidding, we're going to snap it. And they held the Raiders to 3 first downs. And so while we all wanted to write off the Chiefs, they will always prevail.
Now you see that evil will always triumph because good is dumb.
Kansas City getting Rashee Rice back, though the hype videos were a little bit weird. You get a fast car. And he had an immediate impact on that offense. And it just feels like the Chiefs are getting healthy at the right time. Obviously, it wasn't their most ideal start to the season, but now having an offense that looks to be all the way back, yeah, the Chiefs are going to be a problem this season. And now taking on a beat-up Commanders team, this could be a problem in Arrowhead on primetime. And so here, just based off the way the Commanders' defense has looked, and on top of that, if Jaden Daniels doesn't play, I don't like Washington's chances here. I'm going to go with Kansas City to get another big win. While I don't think it's going to be a shutout and like a purely dominant game like it was against the Raiders, this may be a very lopsided score. I'm going with Kansas City to get the win, and it looks like there are 2 empires in the AFC that are back. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Who you got winning this week? We had 6 teams on a bye, so 3 fewer games this week. We'll see what we got cooking in week 8. But let me know. You guys saw me at TomGrossiComedy.com, and a big shout out and thank you to all the Patreon and YouTube members for supporting this channel. And thank you so much for watching. I'm Tom Grossi, and as always, go Pack Go.